What's going on? What's going on, y'all? What's good, family? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Talk to 'em Con, where the real meets the raw, and we chop up everything from the streets to the system. Now, today we're talking about something that hit close to home. Is the middle class disappearing? Now, I'm talking about the space where you used to feel kind of comfortable, you know, felt relaxed, right? You had a house, you had a car, you took a vacation at least once or twice a year. Now folks feel like they're working harder just to stay broke. Now, let's get into why that is and where the shift started, right? And if we could bounce back from that. Y'all ready? Let's talk to them. Now, for me, man, it's like the rise and fall of the American dream started back in the day, right after, World War II. America was on a serious come up. We had soldiers coming home, families growing, jobs booming, and the government was throwing money right into highways, education, and housing, right? That's where you got a lot of these houses out here now. Um, they were like strong homes. Some of the foundation is still around these homes, right? But then you also had these highways that they stopped building, right? Because we'll talk about that later. But highways were getting built, education was number one, and housing was just a thing, and that's where a lot of our grandparents and grandfathers, our grandparents, grandmothers, grandfathers were getting these houses that they have or used to have in the family back then, right? Now the GI Bill made it possible for a lot of people to buy homes, get degrees, raise families on one income. One. No such thing as one income today, right? One income, you could be working on one income and pay whatever you need to pay. You're homeless. You're broke. You know what I mean? Um, and that's almost like what it classifies today as one, you know. And and that one income, that was the real start of what we call the middle class, right? Because, you know, your grandfather was able to take care of the home, grandma dad had to work, whatever, however it was, right? Mommy stay home, raise the kids. She went and got her degree. Daddy out there working, taking care of all the bills. That's how it was back then, right? The American dream, right? And people could work at a factory, join a union, and know your job was covered, right? Like you that was like you had security, right? And you had health insurance, paid vacations, and you got a pension. There's a lot of jobs not even giving pension, not even giving no type of 401k, right? You just working there and you basically have to go into the bank and get your own IRA just to make sure that when you get older or you don't have to work all your life, right? Some jobs not even giving sick leave, not even giving health insurance. You just work. And if you try to get a paid vacation, that's called a call out, right? And do any of y'all remember those days? Because I'm not from that World War era, but when I was born and started working, that was still a thing, right? You got those benefits from working, and you worked for 30 years and was able to retire. Now some people, you work they 30 years and still can't retire, right? And you'll just get a check for life. And now you lucky just, your job give you a pizza party and a 401k and you don't even understand it, right? It's like today, you get that 401k And look at the guy that had the Burger King, worked at Burger King all those years. They gave him a gift basket like he just got promoted f- and only been there for 2 years with them, right? Doing the same thing, put his kids through college and everything. But he still wasn't appreciated the way I think. The American dream meant home ownership, job stability, and a chance to build a better life for your kids. But fast forward to now, the dream is feeling more like a fantasy. It doesn't exist almost, right? Let's bring it to the present. And when we talk about the present, you feel like you're making more money but can't get ahead. That's inflation working against us, right? Rent in most cities is sky high. You and people still want to go to these big cities to make it, right? With the way social media works, the way cameras work, the way microphones work, the way, you know, the world works, you can just pull up a phone and make your debut as an actor, as a whatever you want. You don't have to go to New York and spend $2,000 to live in Fort Greene, $2,000 to live in, the anywhere. You know what I mean? You, you don't have to go to LA and pay $2,000, $3,000, $3,000 to live in Compton. Um, but you know, grocery bills feel like car notes now. Gas, daycare, electric, all that's up in the air. But the paycheck, that the paycheck is like you just stuck, bro. You stay stuck. If you already didn't have a savings to build off of and, you know, put a little here and there away, if you live in check to check, you're stuck. But that's the middle class. And, the federal minimum wage, right, hasn't gone up since 2009. And meanwhile, the cost of living is going through the roof of the house that you live in. That's been sprinting, even for folks that have good jobs. Because right now, a person like, oh, they make 150,000 a year. You be like, oh, they making a good job, but they still fucking broke, bro. They still having issues with making ends meet to supply for their family, right? It's like how you still living check to check and you're in a good job position, right? And some people are still stuck on, oh, well, this person makes this much now, so they can do everything on their own. That's unrealistic. You damn near have to have 2 or 3 jobs today, or one great job that 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 pay you as strong. Like you have to be making 10,000 a week. I mean, 10,000 a month, right? To just be back into that comfortability stage, right? Then there's student loans. Folks try to do the right thing, go to school, get a degree, chase the dream. I'm actually in school right now, so I understand this one. That's why I said in the beginning, this is dear to my heart, and this is why I want to speak about it, right? And like I said, try to do the right thing, go to school, get a degree, chase the dream, but now you're drowning in debt, right? And on top of that, we got folks using Klarna, Afterpay, just to pay for sneakers and groceries. That ain't living, that's just surviving. And a lot of people that look like me just know how to do that. We know how to survive. So, yes, shit, I use Klarna, I use Afterpay, I use all that. Sometimes I have it, but I just do not want to use the full payment. It's almost like using a credit card. So I don't even get why, what I mean, some people frown against it. But shit, I live for it. Now let's get real. Black and brown communities feel this harder than anybody, right? Generational wealth gaps, redlining, underfunded schools. We've been behind the eight ball, and even when we get into the middle class, one unexpected event, job loss, you know, car breakdown, medical bills, child support, divorce. It could go on and on for us, man. And we back at square one. Now, our middle class got got pressure from the top and from the bottom. We do not want to go back to what we thought we were running from, right? And then we have people that do not want us to get us to the part where we get out of that middle class. So we're like a sandwich, bro. Brown and black and brown people, we're a sandwich. And we have to understand that we're not fighting against each other. We need to stop that because we are smothered, bro. We're not trying to go backwards. And we have somebody trying to stop us from going forward, right? Can we rebuild the middle class? Can we rebuild it? All right, so what now? Right? What now? Do we give up on the middle class? No. We just rebuild it our way. And that takes us being mentally ready for that, but also willing to sacrifice some things, right? It starts with financial literacy. And for a lot of people who don't know what I do outside of this, I actually do financial literacy from elementary all the way to college, all the way to elders, whatever. I go to different schools and all that, all right? But if our schools won't teach it, we got to teach each other, right? And that's how I look at it. I go to these things and I feel happy because it was not taught when I was coming up. And then even our older heads that was trying to teach us just a little bit of something weren't giving us all the sauce. As you know, a lot of it was, oh, you do it, but you got to get it your own way. I'm not going to give you the whole. You got to start moving some way. And if I see you slipping because I see you going this way, then I tell you how to do this X Y Z, right? Whatever. But like I said, we have to teach each other credit, budgeting, and investing. And a lot of our issues today in our community, no one gives a damn about credit. No one's trying to budget. We're all just trying to invest, right? But only way you can invest if you start working with your budgeting of with how to invest, where to invest. And then that credit is A1. That's the first thing you need to do when it's coming towards just trying to get ahead in life. Credit. So budgeting, credit, and investing. These gotta be regular barbershop conversations regularly. I know we talk about the games, my Knicks up on Boston, it looked like we might go down, 2-1 tonight. But we gotta do regular barbershop conversations, man, about credit, budgeting, and investing, and just building our community to what we wanted to be and what no one else wants to be, right? And college ain't the only way. Trade schools, certifications, and starting your own thing. It's all legit routes though. Make sure this shit all legit. Cause we do all the illegal shit on all the time, right? So let's become bosses legitly, right? Unions are back in conversations also from Amazon warehouses to Starbucks. Folks are organizing again. When workers come together, you know, they get better pay, better benefits, and real power at the table. When you don't come together and everybody just trying to get to the top and no one's you trying to leave that person, everybody trying to get to the top, everybody trying to get to the top, and they know that. That's why they lowball you all the time, right? Entrepreneurship, that's the new lane, right? We're seeing barbers open shops, excuse me, folks selling different merch, doing mobile detailing, starting podcasts like this, right? You feel me? And for me, like this is always something I wanted to do. That's why we was doing FM radio. We did Sirius radio. We even did our own thing for a while, right? And now I'm back on doing my own thing again. So, but the challenge is just accessing capital, right? That's where we need banks, grants, and support systems to show up for us. But when it comes to banks, we need to stop cheating ourselves. We cannot go out here if we become entrepreneurs and start acting as if we taking the short all the time because the bank not going to give you no money because it looks like you're not making anything. But your regular bank account, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But your business bank account, 60, 70, $100. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up, right? So we need to put that in our head as well. And don't sleep on policy, right? We got to vote for people who believe in affordable housing, canceling student debts, and making sure working folks get a fair shot. All that other shit does not matter. We vote for people who only looking out for the rich. We vote for people who only look out for the rich. And then when someone that gets in there that can help us, we don't help them by voting for the people that's going to put those policies through. But that's because we're not educated in politics because we don't think it matters. And then we're not educated in finances because we always live by you can't take it with you when you're gone. Right? Now, if we don't engage, we stay on the sidelines where decisions get made without us. You like basketball and football? Baseball, you one of them players that when I come off the field, you tell me, yo, if they run that play again, it's going to be open on the side. You see everything, but you never in the game. You're never in the game, right? So, with that being said, man, we just need to try to build a better class for us because with that being said, we become whole. We can't complain about gentrification if we're not trying to take care of our neighborhoods ourselves, right? We can't complain about anything that other people come into your neighborhood and do because if you don't do it, then what's the sense of, you know, what's the sense of doing it? Um, and this is a short one because I just want people to think about that, you know. Maybe you're sitting there in the middle class right now and not realize it because all your life you just thought that it wasn't anymore or it doesn't exist. It exists. It's just that we're not fighting anymore. The middle class used to fight. The middle class used to fight for what they needed and what they wanted. Now that disappeared. That became a joke because now people want to be complacent with what they have and what they do, right? And if you're complacent at what you have and what you do, then anybody can walk over you. anybody can walk over you, right? So I just want to say, look, we grinding harder. What grinding harder. Definitely we have to grind harder, right? We have to think about those steps of credit, budgeting, and investing. Because if you want to be like the rest or you want to be like the other ones, that's what we need, man. So today's episode, I got a little real with you. You know what I mean? I wanted to get a little real with you because the middle class, as we know it, might be fading, but that don't mean we can't redefine it for us, right? We got to be smarter. We got to be louder. And we have to be more united than ever right now, especially with Orange in office. We have to be more together than ever. So here's what I want you to do. Share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it. Tag me on my socials at TALKTOOEMCON, which is Talk to 'em Con. And let's keep the conversation going, right? Do you feel like you're in the middle class or are we just surviving with better clothes? I'm going to let that one sink in. Right? So I appreciate y'all tapping in. That's Talk to 'em Con. Your boy Conway. We out, but not silent. Peace.